Yes, hello everyone, welcome back. Now this is our signature segment, See the Stories. We have a lot of young people, right? And usually they are associated with change for a better future.
That's right.
Which is very, very good. Now, Krizia, before we start, can you or do you still remember the organization that you belonged to when you were studying, when you were younger?
I was studying, back in university, I was involved in this organization called BEM, which stands for Badan Eksekutif Mahasiswa.
Yes.
And I was in the public relations department, so I kind of dealt with, promotional stuff.
Okay.
When we're about to have an event, let's say, things like that. But I'm not really into organization activities because at that time I was busy being a ballet teacher, so I don't really have time.
We almost forgot sometimes that you actually taught something when you were younger too.
What
Very
about
good.
you? What about you? Hey, don't forget about yourself.
No, I actually never belonged to any organization because I was too busy playing tennis.
There you go.
Sorry.
We're both busy.
Yeah, we're busy. Right now, so talking about the young generation and their movements, today we will have a discussion
That's right.
that is going to spotlight the voices of the future, where representatives from ASEAN Youth Organization will share to us their global agenda this year, the ASEAN Youth Economic Forum and the Japan ASEAN Youth Summit. So, joining us in the studio, Ahmad Afryan, ASEAN Youth Organization Managing Director, and from the Philippines with online connection.
Yes.
I think, right? Robi Kate Miranda, 2025 ASEAN Youth Economic Forum Project Director. Hello, guys. And Robbie, I think, can you hear us? Can you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, there you go. There she is. Oh, there she is right there. Hey, Robbie.
Hi, Robi. Okay, so we've got double R today
Exactly.
joining us in the studio, one right here and one virtually. So we're going to be talking about the upcoming events that you both organized, right?
Yes.
Now we want to know more about that. We're going to go with you first. What is the main theme or focus of the Japan ASEAN Youth Summit and ASEAN Youth Economic Forum this year? Well, that's a long name.
I know, that's quite
Explain
You
to
need
us.
to work on the name a little bit.
Well, if I can pick two words, Mbak Mas, that would be economy and also environment. So
Right.
that would be the main theme for both events. So we call it JAYS, which is Japan ASEAN Youth Summit, that would be held in Jakarta, Indonesia. And we're going to organize as well in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia to support this year's ASEAN Chairmanship, which belongs to Malaysia.
Right.
So we're going to organize ASEAN Youth Economic Forum. So maybe I'll start with Japan ASEAN Youth Summit, then I will pass later with my colleagues all the way from the Philippines.
Sounds good.
Right.
So Japan ASEAN Youth Summit, the big theme would be designing a better future. So we're going to provide avenue for the youngsters to discuss two subcommittee. First would be healthcare. So we're going to organize an event, and we will stimulate them in order to discuss about access to healthcare. And the second subcommittee would be related to environment and development. So the main subtopic would be related to urban sustainable infrastructure. So yeah, for ASEAN Youth Economic Forum, I think I'll call my colleagues for a backup.
Yes.
Robbie,
Please, Robbie.
take it away.
Yes. Alright. I hope you can hear me well, but for the ASEAN Youth Economic Forum, the theme for the year is climate change and building a climate resilient economy. So this will happen from February 13 to 17. 13 as the arrival date and 17 as departure. But the actual event will happen from February 14 to 16. So it's gonna be held in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, as the ASEAN chairman for the year. And in this particular event, we prepared panel discussion. We also have site visits, and we also will facilitate policy-making processes for the delegates coming from different parts of Southeast Asia, including Timor-Leste, as well as Japan. So for this particular event, we aim to drive discussion on sustainable infrastructure, green technology, and climate adaptation strategies. So heavily focusing on environmental and also economic side. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Thanks for the explanation. Again, environmental right now is a very serious topic that everybody seems to be concerned about, which is very true because, again, we only have one Earth at the moment. Everybody's living in it, so we have to really take care of it, right?
Yeah.
So with these events that you guys just mentioning, can you tell us what the the outcomes or the deliverables are going to be, Ryan?
I'd like to start with, it is youth-driven, youth-inclusive, and youth-focused learning journey and also engagement. So we want to provide an avenue for the youngsters. For example, if we're talking about the Japan ASEAN Summit, we target the participants between 15 until 23 years old only. So we want to provide and expose them with more opportunities to engage and ideas and opinions with the high-level speakers and also the experts as well. But if we're talking about the ASEAN Youth Economic Forum, we target mid and also the above levels of the professionals who really focus on the issues of climate change, sustainability, and also, of course, related to economy because the name is ASEAN Youth Economic Forum. So we support also the ASEAN Youth Development Index. That would be our guidelines in the ASEAN Youth Organization. Mainly indicator equity and inclusion, and also engagement and participation, and also related to education and skills. Because really, we want to provide an avenue for the youngsters for them to be able to excel their skills and also to provide meaningful contribution in policy making. So if we are talking about the output for Japan ASEAN Youth Summit, they will propose solutions and we will give them an awards for the best solution to tackle the issues of healthcare and also environment and development. On another note, for the ASEAN Youth Economic Forum, the main output would be policy recommendation that would be submitted to the ASEAN Secretariat through the ASEAN Seniors Official Meeting on Economics. So yeah.
Okay, so my next question would be, who are eligible to participate in this event? I know you mentioned a little bit about that, and I would like to know also about how can the youth leaders and also organizations or let's say individuals register for these two events.
Sure.
Maybe Robi can
Take it away, yeah.
Yes, for the Japan ASEAN Youth Summit or JAYS, so people can register to our website at aseanyouth.net/JAYS or JAYS. But the people eligible to register for the events, as mentioned by Ryan, are students from either Japan, from 10 ASEAN countries, or from Timor-Leste. So again, you can apply to our website at aseanyouth.net/JAYS. So registration is open with special offers available until January 26. And after that date, regular pricing will apply until January 31. As mentioned by Ryan as well, so the summit will be conducted in Jakarta, Indonesia from February 19 to 22. Meanwhile, for AYEF, a few days ago, we closed the applications for funded delegates and we received over 600 submissions from across Southeast Asia and Japan. But if you missed the deadline, don't worry because you can still apply for the public forum as a participant. So until February 5th, you can register through our website at aseanyouth.net/AYEF. Again, aseanyouth.net/AYEF, and the deadline is February 5. So the one-day public forum on February 14 is open to all nationalities and ages. So we are very much inclusive here in the public forum, and we also encourage people with disabilities to register. And if ever you cannot attend, we also offer, you can also apply still because we will offer a hybrid setup. So online participation is available for those who are unable to attend in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Oh, you planning on attending, Krisia?
Well, I guess I'm too old, perhaps, for this event.
Not that old. When were you born? Like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. No, and then the next one is now of course, we want to know if or how the summit could foster the cultural exchange and understanding between Japanese and the ASEAN youth.
Revisiting your statement, it's open between 15 and 35 years old, so don't worry.
35,
You're still
I'm like
in it.
at the borderline. 35 plus 2 weeks, so
35, she's a little over
I can
35.
still register.
At least young at heart, right?
That's the most important thing,
Right.
forever
I know.
young at heart. Okay,
Exactly.
go on.
So yeah, because we're talking about the ASEAN and also our dialogue partners, right, which is Japan. Because again, me, myself, I consider as ASEAN citizen. I have Japanese descendants, so I'm very much excited for this project, actually. Cooperation between ASEAN Youth Organization with our stakeholders in Japan. So if we're talking about that specific area, definitely ASEAN connectivity would be play important roles because we want to support again the focus of the ASEAN Secretariat itself, which is to circulate and disseminate the values of ASEAN connectivity. Other than that, I think I've mentioned about the ASEAN Youth Development Index. This become like sort of the Bible of our guidance and also our programs and partnership to make sure that we follow the certain indicators. For example, like to support the education and skills, to support the indicators of equity and inclusion, which I think very translated in these activities within Japan ASEAN Youth Summit and also the ASEAN Youth Economic Forum.
Hold on a second. The ASEAN Development Index, can you tell us a bit more about that? Maybe the indicators or stuff that you're actually using at the moment or doing?
Yes. If you are not really familiar, in each countries, usually we have the Youth Development Index. For example, like in Indonesia, we have Indeks Pembangunan Pemuda. While at the regional level, we have the ASEAN Youth Development Index. So we have 7 indicators, starting from education and skills to ASEAN values and identities. So with these indicators, we want to provide meaningful youth engagement space for the youngsters, for us, and for you, to make sure that we have the right opportunities, we have the right place as well, we have the right stakeholders to voice out our opinions and ideas.
Ah, okay.
Now, since we won't be joining the events, I mean, we won't be eligible to participate, we would like to get a snippets of the key issues that will be discussed in that forum, perhaps in the economic sector.
Sure, I'll start. Maybe after this, I'll invite my colleagues, if I may.
Sure.
So if we're talking about the Japan ASEAN Youth Summit, they would be held next week. At the end of, next month at the end of February. So again, it will be heavily focused on the urban sustainability, urban infrastructure. So the issues that will be discussed, of course, are related to healthcare and adequate access to healthcare. We're going to visit a few stakeholders as well in Jakarta because that event will be held in Jakarta. Of course, we're going to visit ASEAN Secretariat as well, which I believe that would be very exciting for the youngsters to visit the ASEAN Secretariat. We're going to provide them as well upon opportunities to exchange ideas with the ambassador in our session called Conversation with Ambassador. So we have confirmation from Ambassador of Japan to ASEAN. So Excellency will join, and not only to deliver remarks, but also to have an hour session to discuss directly with our participants, which I believe that would be really exciting.
Very exciting. I can even, thinking about it, it's very exciting. Right? So I think we want to go to Robi now. Robi, how will the forum connect the youth with potential mentors, investors, and of course, business leaders?
All right. For the side of AYEF, so also want to go back to the question earlier. We'll discuss also different economic topics, for example, like climate resilience to policies, governance, and collaboration, enacting new carbon resilient infrastructure, and also supporting renewable energy expansion and energy storage solutions. And last but not the least is building a climate resilient economy. Now on how the participants can connect with potential mentors, investors, and business leaders. So in AYEF, we will provide them an opportunity because we also invited different entrepreneurs to join the event during the public forum. So they will showcase their businesses, and through that opportunity, participants and delegates will also be able to connect with business leaders, investors, and entrepreneurs working in climate action and sustainability, and who can also support their growth and impact in building a climate resilient economy. So as per Jace, we also invited ASEAN officials, also high-level officials, government officials, and academicians, and participants will have a chance to interact with them during the summit. And as I mentioned earlier, during the forum, we will provide them more opportunities to connect and interact with one another.
Very, very fun. It seems like it's going to be a very fun event. It's going to be held here in Jakarta, right? So maybe if we have time, we'll stop by.
Yes, if we're not too old for that.
With Ryan, right?
Definitely.
Well, we still have more questions for them,
We do. We're not going to stop here, but we are going to take a quick break though. And after the break, again, we're still going to be talking about ASEAN Nextgen. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.